Hey, what's up, guys? This is tattoo artist Donnie DeVille and guitar player for Messer, and you're watching Tattoo.com.
Hi, everybody. It's Mischievous Mel live from Rockwell On Scene Music Magazine, Tattoo.com, and Rockwell Radio on the Edge. So, today I'm in DeBellum, Texas, and if I knew the day of the week, I would tell you all. And we are going to talk tattoos and music with Messer.
What's going on, everybody? This is Donnie DeVille. I play guitar and do backing vocals in the band Messer.
All right, we're going to talk music first because, you know, we like music, you like music. So, could you tell us how you got into the band, your story of meeting up with Messer?
Well, it's funny how everything kind of comes and goes full circle. I was playing music in my life and kind of got to a point to where I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere with it. And I had a guitar player in a band that I was in, and he was a tattoo artist, and he had a shop, and he convinced me to start tattooing. So I quit playing music and went straight off the deep end into tattooing and kind of developed that over the course of several years. And then tattooing brought me back around to meeting the guys in Messer. And by that time, I'd already established myself really well in the tattoo industry and was ready to get back into music. And I'd already started writing at my home studio and creating and all of that. And, over the years, I developed a really good friendship with the guys in Messer. I was tattooing on all of them and met the producer when he came out from L.A. when this whole album process started. And became good friends with him, and before I knew it, I was in the band. They decided that they needed another guitar player, and they felt that I was a perfect fit. And to be quite honest with you, I didn't think that I would ever be in another band, but when they asked me to join Messer, it was a no-brainer. You know what I mean? It was like a shoe-in, because we were already like family, basically. So that was that, and the rest is history.
Well, you mentioned an album. I hear you guys are dropping a new album.
We are. Yes, we are. We're going to be dropping our debut self-titled album. It's just Messer on April 20th of this year. And we've got a new single out off that album right now called Make This Life. That's seems to be catching some pretty good traction. So we're pretty excited about that. And we're actually going in 2 days. We're going to leave to go to Columbus, Ohio, to start a tour with Red and Lacey Sturm and Righteous Vendetta. And we're going to do that basically until our CD release on 4/20. And then we've got another tour that we're going to be continuing on directly after that. So it's going to be a lot of grinding and a lot of shows.
That's really awesome. You brought up your producer. You want to give us a little background on your small producer who's really fucking awesome?
Yeah, Chad Gendison at Silver Lake Pro in LA. He's my best friend and my brother, and he's a great songwriter and a great musician and a great friend, and he's a member of this band, basically. I mean, we're all really, really tight, and we've all spent a lot of close quarters time together over the few years that we took writing and creating this album, and all the lyrics and all the tracking back and forth between DFW and LA, and it's been he's a real blessing to my life and to music, and I don't see myself with a different producer, honestly. He's I guess he's the song doctor. He can take a really, really good song and just like tweak it and tune it and just make it flawless.
That's awesome. And I am jealous that you guys are on the road with Lacey Sturm because I absolutely love her. And we wanted to come to the show, but honesty prevails. We have an event in California. So we go all over as well. But we will see a tour before it is done in a show. So I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for the album. I can't wait. But now my excitement turns to something even more. The only thing I love more than one tattoo is many. And you have a lot, and they're beautiful.
Thank you.
So I want to hear about your life as a tattoo artist.
Well, I've been getting tattooed since I was legally able to. I'm kind of like the black sheep of the family, so to speak. I'm the only one in my family with any tattoos, but I've just always had a desire and a passion for art. As a kid, I mean, I would, I remember I was staying with my grandmother one time, and she bought me a big pack of markers, and we got back to her house, and I went and locked myself in the bathroom, and I didn't come out until I had a full sleeve on my arm of marker, and I thought I was going to be in trouble, and I came out, and she was just so amazed. She started taking pictures of them. This is back in the Kodak days, you know what I mean, with the, the wind-up cameras. But I still have those pictures, actually. But I think I was like 11 or 12 at that time, and it's crazy, the prelude or the foreshadowing into, later in my life where I'm actually a tattoo artist when this isn't marker. But I've just had a passion for it since I can remember, and never thought that I would become a tattoo artist, to be honest with you.
Did you do any other art medium besides tattooing?
Just music. Well, as far as like career-wise, or as in for a job, or just in general?
Just to do.
Well, I do painting, a lot of painting, with oils preferably. I have painted with some acrylics, but to get a nice color graduation with acrylic, you have to sit and spend more time with a blow dryer than you do with a paintbrush. And I kind of, once I get into a zone on an art project, a vision that I have in my head that I want to put down, like with oils, I work wet because I just want to get it done. It's going to be hard for me to walk away from it for 2 weeks, let it dry, and then come back to it and get in that same groove that I was in initially. So I'm sorry, that's why I love oils, because I can sit and I can work wet and I can blend on the canvas and start to finish and get it done, and then let it sit for a couple weeks and dry.
Well, I'm looking at you, and you are a beautiful billboard of ink. Did you do any of these to yourself?
Yes.
All right.
That's how I learned to tattoo. This phoenix on my forearm here is the very first tattoo I ever did on skin. And I wasn't scared because at the time my guitar player in the band owned a shop, and he said, if you mess it up, I'll fix it. So I went in with no fear. So I did that tattoo, and it took me like 12 hours to do that tattoo. That would now take me like 2 hours. But I was doing it one-handed, and so I didn't have a stretch hand. Stretching the skin is very important in tattooing. And so I wasn't able to do that. So I was trying to manipulate my arm on an armrest to get the stretch and whatnot. But I knocked that out and did a couple more on the top of my arm. And then I started tattooing friends and, on somebody other than myself. And did about 10 or 11 tattoos, and then I got a phone call from a guy that was opening up a new tattoo shop and asked me if I wanted to become a professional. And the rest of that was history. But yes, everywhere on this arm that I could reach, I tattooed myself.
That's amazing.
And on this leg.
I'm not afraid to ask you to drop your pants, but I don't know if you want to. I've had many people do it. My question is, because you've picked beautiful colors.
Thank you.
And I love that. But some guys are scared of color, and I don't understand why.
I'll tell you why.
All right.
Whenever I started tattooing, I didn't understand color either. And like in art, before I started tattooing, like in my childhood years, a lot of the drawings that I did were all black and gray, all pencils, because I understood, the gradient from black to white or skin tone in tattooing. And so those are all of your values. It's just different shades of black building up to, where the more you dilute it, the whiter it becomes. And color is like math, okay? It's basically all theory, just like music is. And so to really, for me as an artist, I was frustrated at the fact that I didn't understand color, and I didn't know how to make it look good. I could put blue in there, and I could put green in there, and I could put red in there, and yeah, those are all contrasting colors, but why doesn't it pop like I want it to pop, And so I started reading a lot of books, doing a lot of online research, and just trial and error of tattooing and making choices. Develop my color skills and my understanding of harmony of color. And that's what really helped me build my portfolio to be where now that's all I really do is color, especially whenever it comes to portraits. But, for a long time, I was scared to do color. So I would just do a black and gray portrait, And then I was introduced to a guy by the name of Marshall Bennett out of Michigan. He owns several Eternal Tattoo shops there in the Flint and Detroit area. And he started working with me on like pinup art because he's really known for his realism and his pinups. And yeah, we sat for a couple of days, and he was just going over some stuff with me, with flesh tones and understanding, better understanding of light sources and stuff like that, realism stuff. And so I started diving off into color. That's kind of how I really dove off into color realism, was doing pinups. But I got to a point where I was like, okay, I kind of feel like I'm a glorified flash artist right now, because all I'm doing is taking an image and I'm copying it onto skin. And even though I'm able to do that proficiently, I'm still not creating and fulfilling that part of me as an artist. So then I got off into doing like traditional tattooing, American traditional, neo-traditional. And that's whenever I really started playing a lot more with color and just, making choices. I mean, in life is about making choices. Every choice that you make in your life basically it paves the road of your destiny. And it's the same thing in a tattoo. Every choice you make in that tattoo paves the destiny of that tattoo, that end result, And I've spent more time looking at pictures of tattoos that I've done, analyzing what I could have done to make it a better tattoo. I've spent way more time doing that than I ever have with a needle in my hand.
It's what impresses me about you as a tattoo artist, because we've talked to many, is they're like, oh yeah, you just pick up the ink and you go. You are basically like you could be a fucking tattoo professor, and you need to talk to some of these guys, because it's not that they don't do art, but there's difference, like you say, how to get the color variations, how to make it look right. It just, that was very scientific and educated, and I love it. Because I mean, it was, people think that anybody can tattoo if you can draw, and I don't think that's the case. I
know a lot of really, really good artists that can paint, that can draw their asses off, but they can't tattoo to save their life. It's a whole different medium. It's a whole different thing, and there's so many angles you can take at executing a proper tattoo. And there's so many variables that come into play, whether you're using coil machines or whether you're using rotaries or whatever, the Hawks or whatever there is out there, whatever types of inks you're using with the different consistencies, and down to gray. If you're doing gray wash, what are you doing with your gray wash? Are you using premixes? Are you mixing in the cup? Or, there's just so many variables, needle configurations and power supply settings and just so much. But I've been tattooing for 12 years, and, after about 4 or 5 years, I really kind of dialed into where, I could go 2 weeks without doing a tattoo and not feel rusty. Like now, I can go months without doing a tattoo, and I can sit down, put a machine in my hand, and it's just like riding a bike, or eating food or breathing air. It's just like a part of me, and I don't even think about what I'm doing now. But I did spend a lot of years perfecting myself as an artist to be able to be that way. But I thought about, teaching. I actually thought about creating a YouTube channel, but I know that the tattoo industry would not like me if I did that. And because it's kind of like a thing, in the tattoo industry, it's trade secrets, and, it's kind of taboo to talk about stuff with people that aren't a high caliber artist, trading secrets with amateurs. Basically, I guess it's kind of shunned upon, and that's another way artists in the industry make money is they'll put out a DVD or they'll put out a book, to like an instructional type material for other artists to read and watch and learn from. So, I don't feel like stepping on the toes of other artists just out of respect in the industry. But that's pretty much the only reason why I haven't created a YouTube channel to teach, is out of my respect to the artists in the industry.
I'm going to ask you about one more tattoo, and then I want you to tell me where people can find you,
okay,
and how to get your services, and anything else you want to say about yourself, because this is all you. I'm looking at your neck.
Okay.
Did you do that? Or?
I did not do that.
Okay. And I was going to say, if you could do that, that's freaking amazing.
The guy that did it was using a rotary machine, and it was the most painful tattoo session I've ever had. I was literally like in convulsions, teeth chattering uncontrollably. I was probably running a fever. It was brutal, and I won't ever do it again. But it's done. That's why I won't ever do it again. But yeah, it was terrible. But yeah, it's just like I have a big squid taking out a great white shark in some blood waves with like the thunderstorm sky background, and got my old tattoo shop company logo here, and I got a Medusa over on this side, and it all just kind of fills in together. I'm not shaving right now, but I've got some diamonds for my mother, my grandmother, and my daughter on my jawline here. And, you know, it's all fun. I mean, you know how it is. Once you pop, you can't stop. It's like a can of Pringles.
I love that. All right, now where can we find you? And first, before we do that, do you want to shout out who did any of that? Or
I've been tattooed by so many artists. We could be here for hours talking about name dropping or whatever, but you know who you are, guys.
And I only say because it's not that I don't want to hear it, but we were running late today, so we apologize for that. But now I'm going to do you a solid, and I want to know, mostly for me, where I can find you and anything else you want to say.
Okay, well, as far as me goes, you can find me Donnie DeVille Official. I think on Facebook I'm Donnie DeVille Tattoos, but my profile is public, so you can go on my Facebook and look at all my work. And if you want to set up an appointment, you can email me, DonnieDeVilleTattoos@gmail.com. As far as our band Messer, everything is Messer Band, at Messer Band. Whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, our website's MesserBand.com, Patreon, everywhere. And you can download all of our music on iTunes, Google Play. You can pre-order at PledgeMusic.com. I think it's /projects/MesserBand. And there's lots of really cool packages on there, different levels. You can get T-shirts, 140 gram vinyls, 180 gram vinyls, some limited edition bandanas, stickers, all kinds of like really cool stuff, picks, tour laminates, just depending on what level of package you want to get. But that's at PledgeMusic.com /projects/MesserBand. I think that's it.
And you can see them on the road. They're going to be playing with Lacey Sturm and Red. And Righteous Vendetta. I knew that. I just had to think. Slow day. So.
And that's going to be, we're going from Ohio over to Washington and Oregon and California and back to Texas and then to Nashville, Atlanta, and then we're coming back to Texas, and then we're going to be doing Florida and Louisiana, Alabama. We're going to be going back to Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. We're going to be all over in the next 3 months. So it's a pretty certain thing that we're going to be touring and playing in some city near you. So we would love to see you guys come out to a show and help support our new album that we're so excited to bring everybody.